To my beautiful and amazing royals of Africa, Mbolwani, my dear children, this is your queen, Queen Ngningone II, 17th generation crown queen of the Fang people and of the diasporans Africans, also known as the Immortals. My dear children, welcome back to Nubia, the path to return. Now, if you're watching me for the first time, hello, my name is Queen Ngningone II. I'm your host, and welcome to Nubia, the path to return. If you like my vibe, stick around. You will learn something. Now, to my returning and amazing, beautiful royals of Africa, welcome back. My dear royals, first of all, I would like to start by thanking you for all your support, all your likes, all your share, all your messages of encouragement, and of course, all your donation. I was spoiled. Thank you. So now let's continue. Today, I would like to touch on a particular topic. As you know, here at Nubia, the path to return is the home of the African royal. When I say the path to return, the return to who we are, okay? The return to our true identity, the return to our true spirituality, the return to our true culture, the return to ourselves. So basically, Nubia is a channel for healing, all right? So Nubia is the platform for those who know and feel that they come from us, they come from these prestigious royals of Africa. The topic I would like to talk about is the rise of the black supremacists among us, all right? Anti-Africanism, the Afrophobia, its anti-blackness at its best. All right, so before I tackle into today's topic, I would like to play a little clip video from one of our activists, Princess Najiri. I hope I'm not tearing up her name.
Some people actually came into my DMs and told me they are not Africans, they're not from Africa, they should not be called African Americans. I'm not here to force anybody to come to Africa. I'm not here to force you to come to Africa. I'm here to talk to those that know, feel they have the African ancestry and they have a right to it. If you feel you're indigenous to wherever you are, keep quiet, keep it to yourself and stay there. Let other people who want to unite, unite. Because the fact is, if you are not African descent, why should you be bothered? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my fellow African descent people that Africa is their home and it will forever be your home.
So guys, what I want to put out is a lot of people, or some people, are actually coming into my inboxes on Instagram and telling me on how they are not Africans, that, you know, black people are everywhere and that I should not force my beliefs or my, you know, whatever I'm talking about to other black people. But then,
so basically she was expressing her just outrage how some people, you know, went to her inbox, you know, reminding her that they are not African and that by her just being out, basically inviting her brothers and sisters to come home, she's doing wrong. So, and it was far too familiar for me, because I realized that the people we have become are worse than the people who even have enslaved us. So let me continue. We do receive these messages of some of our lost children. That's how I choose to call them, because the proof is in the pudding. Only a person who is completely ignorant of their root would show such hatred toward their own kind. Okay? So I get a lot of these messages too. Every now and then someone would come and tell me I shouldn't discuss African American matters because I'm not African American. Or they would come and say, you know what, the African American, we are not your children. When they hear me, you know, as a queen is a mother to her people, but they are so lost, all right? So they will come and confront you. So, and then you will turn around and you will see the uproar, how upset they are, the way the white supremacy system, you know, treat us. When I say us, all of us, including them. But what they're failing to realize is like they have become other supremacists, or at least are trying to become supremacists around other Africans or other blacks. So what I would like our children out there to understand is it doesn't matter, even if you lost track of who you are. Not because you don't know who you are, it doesn't mean that us, the people on the continent, the people you come from, would lose track of who you are. I can set eye on many of you and put you on the continent, the country of origin you come from, because of the way you look. We don't lose our people. So, first, before I start, I would like to give 2 disclaimers. Number 1 disclaimers is the thing we are going to talk about are not meant to put down anybody. All right? We will talk of particular tribes and stuff like that. Please understand that this is not a personal attack. This is just using the name of your tribe or your group of people as a reference to serve as a teaching moment for my own people. Okay? So disclaimer number 1. Disclaimer number 2. Disclaimer number 2 is anybody watching from the continent, because I know this video is going to be about our children in the diaspora. So anybody watching from the continent, I would like you to understand this. In America, we have 3 type of children. We have these children we never lost. Meaning when they see us come around, they welcome us, they warm, they want to know more about home, they're curious, they embrace us. We have those descendants of the strong bloodline. I could say they remain untouched, the way they move, their choices in life and stuff. And then we have the other group who has been brainwashed to believe, because they landed in the hand of the worst savages, right? They could become their masters around other Africans like them or other blacks like them. Those with the nose up, they think they're superior. Those who hate themselves to the core. I mean, they will claim a dog before they could associate themselves with Africa. Those. So we have the group of those we never lost. And they still have a good sense of what is to be African. They feel it in their blood. We have those the former master has completely brainwashed. And we have another group who really truly don't care. They're completely lost. I mean, they swear that they don't even want to know. They don't even want to find out. As painful as it is, this is the state we are in. So, to those of our children who are entertaining the thought that they could become other supremacists around us, Them themselves, they're incapable of surviving white supremacists. But instead of, when we get together as the children of Africa, wherever we find ourselves in the world, instead of bringing that warm unity feel, they're the ones that bring conflict, because they have become just like their former masters. So, although I understand that it's part of just human nature, you have to have a root, you have to belong to somebody. So when I come and claim our children, yes, our late kings, their children were taken away, including ours. My blood is out there. I'm getting people contacting me with their DNA result showing the 94% found. Who gave them these people? So it goes to show that our blood is here. So get comfortable, accommodate yourself of having us around, because my ancestors were taken. My father's land was less desolate, and they were snatched and brought to another land to build. So if I come and looking for a job here, accommodate and understand that I also should be here. Okay? Don't upload video asking your other brothers and sisters who come from elsewhere. You need to go and sit, wait before you can feed your children. Wait for us to feed our children first, because we were here first. They have become the supremacists who goes around and dictate others. When we say descendants of Africans, to me, you are all Africans. Because even the new so-called found identity of indigenous, yes, we know that our people used to trade beyond the borders of our continent. Yes, we know that our people were in America before these people came. Yes, we know that. But they didn't come to stay. And even those who came to stay, what happened to them? They got massacred. Okay, because if you were descendant of those indigenous who were here, if you are descendant of the indigenous Bantus, okay, because we are indigenous autochthone population of the earth, wherever there were a first human being living in that area, it was us. The Europeans are just finding out. The more they dig, the more they find us. It's just a fact. Okay, so yes, there were indigenous people living here, but in my humble opinion, there's no way none of you African American calling yourself indigenous could be descendant of those, and let me tell you why. That would make you indigenous of this land. So what would have happened to you is the equivalent of what happened to us in Africa. What did they do after they murdered our kings? They conquered our land. They did what they did. They had the intention of enslaving us. Yes, they did enslave us on our homeland. But they had limitation as to what they could do. They couldn't really have the system of plantation or big ones. In some places in Kenya, I heard they did. But in our equatorial jungle, it was very hard. We were native of the forest. They couldn't contain us like that. We would run away. We knew our place. So you guys being native, how did you guys ended up finding yourself mingled up with our royals? They stole from us. Okay, how come you didn't break free? You were in your land. So what happened between your leadership and their leadership? You say you were indigenous of this place. In my opinion, the indigenous ones got wiped out, and none of you current African American answering the slave master's last name is descendant of those. We know that they were already Bantu here before the European got here. But you guys cannot be the descendant of those because you didn't preserve anything they built. The number one evidence that lead me to believe that, yeah, they were here, but they were not that many, okay, is the fact that they didn't build. A particularity about our people, everywhere we go, we set stone. Even you guys, when our ancestors were brought here, they were brought into captivity. But the minute they broke free, the minute they became free, what did they do? They built cities. It's just that the people over here made it clear they don't want to allow you to own anything here. So even those they brought in captivity were able to set stone, not one, many cities. I did my research. Okay, so it's a particularity about us. Wherever we go, we set stone, and we don't just build little meaningless things. We build impressive things. It's a particularity about our people. Now, number two, what happened to your indigenous names? In Africa, they enslaved us in the Congo. Everybody knows the story, but they were not able to strip us of our identity, meaning our last names. How can you strip naked a group of people from their land? I mean, they're in their land. How can you take their names outright, just like the children you snatched from Africa and brought in a foreign land where they don't know anything? They don't know where the north is. They don't know where the east is. They just lost. But you are indigenous. How were they successful in stripping you of your indigenous last name? But the other tribe, the Native Americans here, they answer their last names. Some of them adopted Anglo-Saxons names or whatever, but they do answer their real last name. So what happened to your last name? So you mean to tell me that you were indigenous in this land? Number one, you couldn't keep yourself free. At some point, you couldn't break free. Number two, there's no evidence. You guys are looking for the ships that brought the African. I'm asking you the evidence of what your people built. Where is the civilization? What was your language? What was your spirituality? Right? How come you lost all this? No matter how much they try to enforce the convert or die, our spirituality survives. Our languages survive. Even our crown survive. So now, unless you guys really got done in terribly, in my humble opinion, those who are here now that they call themselves indigenous or whatever could not have been the descendant of the original Bantus, Muntu, who were the first inhabitant of the earth, including North and South America. In my humble opinion, they got wiped out. Another thing, if America was already full packed of Negroid looking men and women, why did they feel the need to make all these voyages to Africa, all these expeditions to go and get more people and drain Africa of 15 millions of its children? What happened there? If America was already full packed of black people ready to be enslaved, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so my question is, what did the indigenous, Bantu in America, what did they build? So I guess they really didn't build anything. I mean, really nothing to show off except what the Africans, built once they got here. So we really need to get serious with all that, that it's pathetic, it's painful to watch. How come they were not successful in enslaving the Native Americans? They were getting away one way or another. They were showing them that they're in their homeland. No matter what, they had that advantage. And another thing, they settled them, but they didn't settle the Negro Indians, really the indigenous. We all know that at some point the federal government asked the Indians who own African slaves, by the way, to integrate them in their tribes. As we are currently speaking, Indian tribes are revoking the citizenship, so to speak, that some of your ancestors have acquired through sharing crop, through marriage, or through whatever, or through the program the federal government asked them to integrate them. That's why they're kicking you guys out of their tribe, because they're contesting it, that the federal government is nobody to tell them, to force them to integrate people in their tribe. So even them, they are awakening that among us we have some intruders. Dear royals of Africa, as you already know your queen, all right? I had to go and find the receipts, like our children call them in America. Your queen went and gathered her receipts. So guess what I did? I went and spied on my competition. I heard our children have new parents. I'm like, let me snoop around. Let me just snoop around and see how well their newfound parents are treating them. Check this out. This is what I found. So our team sent 3 articles. We gathered 3 articles, and very interesting. Each one just as interesting as the other. One of them is pretty recent, is by the New Yorker. I'm sure it's a reliable source. So this particular one is talking about the story of our lovely ancestor you see here. Her name was Miss Joni May Austen. All right. So the title of the article is When Tribal Nation Expelled Their Black Members. So the article is about clashes between sovereignty rights and civil rights reveal an uncomfortable and complicated story about race and belonging in America. So this is the article. So let us just go over, probably the first paragraph, because I don't want to make this video about it. In 1979, an Oklahoma woman named Joni May Austen stopped getting mail from the Muscogee Nation. There were no more announcements of meetings, notices of election, or news of monetary settlements. The problem wasn't postal. Austen's Muscogee citizenship had been erased by a new Muscogee constitution in which citizenship was defined by blood. Words that name a fraught crossroads in Native and African American histories. The Muscogee people, also referred to as Creeks, were among the tribes that once enslaved people of African descent and that were required in the wake of the Civil War to accept them as tribal citizens. So this is the receipt on what I just said. The federal government literally forced them, and you know how they do. They're going to give you a little incentive. Hey, catch this burden for me. That's how our people were integrated into their tribes. All right. So for your convenience, my dear royals of Africa, I will post the link of this article in the description box below so you can read the article in full. They also have an audio version allowing you to basically listen to it. So now here we have the information that the Native American nation started expelling their black citizens, their African American citizen, in 1979. Fast forward, my team found another amazing article. This one is talking about who else? The second largest Native American nation in the United States of America, the Cherokee Nation. Now, this was the turn of the Cherokee Nation to show the door to our people. Allez, Coco Dema, pack your loads and leave. You are not one of us, and they made it very clear. So our team found this article dated of September 20th, 2011, talking about America's second largest Indian tribe expels blacks. Okay? So as you could see here, the Cherokee Nation expelling them, the Creek Nation expelling them. You know, as a matter of fact, we found out that when it comes to the Creek Nation, our people actually took them to court. So this is the humiliation. This is the humiliation, the dehumanization many of our children in America are ready to face before they could accept or embrace their African identity. It's time we bring this topic in the forefront, okay? So this is the result of the self-hatred that they inherited from their former masters, because a group of people who go enslave people around the world, torture people, hang people in trees. They can't have an ounce of love for themselves to begin with. So this is the starting point. So they inherited the behavior of their former masters, which we know they groomed them for a purpose. They took our children away from us, not only to use them as slaves to build this wealth for them, but also in the future, contrary to us, they plan ahead of time. They have plans mapped out for 50 years to come, how they're going to deal with us and so on. So they were also used, you know, they were also kidnapped to eventually being used in the future as a weapon against their home motherland, just like they came here and became a weapon against British. So anybody with a brain will see it's time we stop all that blind, the same people who hate us. We are the one inviting them home, regardless of how hateful they are. We know what they do when they come around us, when we come to America. Many of them make themselves their mission to destroy what other blacks are building. Look at all the rappers, how they kill each other. Those of our children with promising features are as endangered as any animal in a wild jungle, because our own people would take them. This is the trauma we're dealing with. So I'm tired of, you know, trying to be politically correct. If we are going to tackle the topic of our healing, we have to be truthful and honest. Okay? So here they are being expelled left and right, but they take pride. These are people, these are forced adoption. They're forcing their hand. They're suing them to welcome them in their tribe. This is the humiliation, the dehumanization. Our people rather do that, rather accept their African ancestry. When my older son was younger, he would come home crying, being bullied about his name, and it was not the white kids, it was the African Americans. Because the hatred their master taught them, they pass it on their children, and so on and so on. Even very recently, my son comes back from work. He said there's a girl, an African-American girl, who started work last week, and she saw my name on the schedule. She used to be cool with me, and then she just walk up to me and tell me, "Oh, you African, huh? I hate African. I don't like your people." Now my son has to be on his P's and Q's at work. All right? He has to be on his P's and Q's at work, watch his lunch in the fridge, if somebody's going to spit on it and stuff like that. This is the stress they put us when we come around them. Okay? If you bump into a nice one, we hold on to them because they don't come easy. So are we going to stop faking it and tackle the healing and be truthful with it? Welcome home, because this here is already getting me boiled up. It makes me realize how mentally messed up our people are. With this here is making me angry when I see our children gallivanting around, screaming on people's faces, telling people that they are indigenous, they're indigenous of this place. They claim all these nations. Look at them, openly denying them. This here is embarrassing. My people, we need to get real. We do not deserve respect from anybody as long as we conduct ourselves like these. So our people, check this out, they even took them to court after 43 years. All right, they go to court, they write petition, they sue the people who reject them, you know, by way of forcing themselves into their tribes. My people, please, let's have some decency. Let's be fair. All right? What kind of respect do our group of people deserve when we're conducting ourselves like this? This is self-inflicted violence. Yes, we are survivors of extreme violence, but this here is self-inflicted. When they clearly reject you, you're now forcing people, you're forcing their hands to accept you into their tribes. And yet your own people who claim you hate, You get on our faces with stories. That's not it, my dear children. I have another article which talks about the Black Seminoles and how they came to be the Black Seminoles. The story is the same. You will find the link in the description box below. Runaway slave, Maroons who joined that tribe and helped them during wars, during the different wars. So I do not understand where the confusion comes. The desire of our children to attach themselves to a group of people who clearly do not want them. What do you want these people to do? How do you want them to view us when we are self-inflicting such emotional violence on ourselves because we refuse to see in our former master who they're liars. Of course, lies is a weapon of war. We need to get over the lies and see the obvious. They don't want you, they don't want you. Have some decency. We are royalties, for crying out. We are people of decency. We are regal, sophisticated. We don't get dragged into mud. We should be able to stand on our own. Because our own is more than enough. People have killed, murdered, lied to claim to be us. We are the only one who failed to see our true value and love ourselves for who we are. So I will put the links of this article in the description box below so you do your own researches. But to cut a long story short, what I found was not impressive. Okay, for our people, our children, those in America, to go around gallivanting around, spreading lies, making a mockery out of us. All this to show, when you guys insist, you know, on going around, you know, just begging people who have clearly showed you, have clearly told you that you are not one of them, but all you want to do is beg, is run after them. Meanwhile, the people you come from, you hate. You hate. Our people have become these savages. They go around African haters, African haters, African haters. No. We come here really looking up to you guys, because everybody who has watched you guys' movie, they can't come here hating you. You guys are acting just like these white people. They're the most violent. They're the one who have been killing our people for centuries. But anytime they found themselves around us, they clinch to their purse. They're the one who are scared. You have become these monsters. Just like they prevented you from congregating. That's why many of you, when we post a video that has for goal to touch and, you know, reach out to the descendant of our forefathers, whom we know are everywhere in the Americas, you jump in, you tell us what to say, what not to say. You have become these savages. And I'm laughing. They don't want you, but you force. You want to be one of them so bad. When you get around other Africans and our children in the Caribbean, you call us names. You have to realize that you are not winning any battle when you have become your opponent. Don't think that when we post a video, we are out there forcing people to come to Africa, forcing people who are clearly lost. This is how bad they inflicted pain in you, and you can't deal with it. You have become hateful towards your own kind. So when you barge into our places, it's annoying. I understand you want to belong to something or to a group of people or to somebody. It's understandable. And it's okay to look for your soul tribe, like they call them today. But what is not okay is you to barge into our spaces and come and tell us what we should say. It won't work. You think you could become a master among other ones of us. That's the real problem with most of our children in America. And just like I say, it's not a generalization. We have children who are loving of their newfound identity. You will see many coming forward and tell you, oh, they're not African. These are the ones who hate themselves so much they will claim a dog before they will claim African. They haven't even taken the time to look into their DNA and what is in their DNA, because they know the truth. They're afraid to find us whom they resent so much. So they skip that part. They're going to say they will be the first one to tell you, these DNA tests are not nya nya nya. These DNA tests are not nya nya nya. Many people were told that they had Native American blood and blah, blah. They went and got the DNA, not even 1%. But the self-hatred is so rotting inside that the smell is coming out. Everywhere they go, they have to spew that hatred. And they turn around and hate on those who have self-love. Yes, it is self-love to go take the time to make researches on who you are or the people you come from. Now that science allows us, it's self-love. Go and pay money for your DNA test before you go out there and sound like a complete idiot. They go, oh no, they don't want to do their DNA test, or they haven't even done their DNA test. They go around threatening people. Now they are the one deciding who's black, who's not black. Just like their masters, they turned their back on their motherland. They were a bunch of criminals that cut loose on the world to go and expand the British Empire. But these ones they sent over here created their own country, even bore arms against their motherland. And that's what these black Americans are trying to do. They're trying to become a terror among us. No land man, no land woman, with no code, no accountability. When they run from an identity such as African, to avoid accountability, our culture imposes accountability. Yes. There's a father, there's a mother, there's children, there are elders. Everybody have their place. Everybody protects everybody. Everybody is supposed to love everybody. Now, I wouldn't waste my time to record this video if we were not in dire time. Our children in America must understand that this time around we are facing the same challenges our ancestors were presented with. This time around, if we don't unite, we will perish. While you give yourself the luxury to attach yourself to every and anything, just know that it's prophesied. The children of Yakuba shall return where they come from. Those who will not be within the holy boundaries will not make it. Take me as your messenger. So while you give yourself the luxury to go around threatening people, they come and tell us what to say on our channel. Our children were trained to violate their females, climb on their mothers, sit on their fathers, and then insult everybody. So they don't fear anybody's mother. They don't fear anybody's father. They come on your channel and engage you and insult you like you are age mate of theirs, like you and them raise cattle together. On one hand, you know, we have a lot of, you know, black men, African men going around publicly disgracing themselves, because if you disgrace the woman you come from, the black woman, you disgrace yourself. I know that we even have female who join the game. They have channels insulting the black woman, exposing her shortcoming, her vulnerability. They call her name. What is wonderful with divine laws is it doesn't spare you. The punishment doesn't spare you just because you're ignorant of the law. What our people need to remember is that the Creator, Tata Nzambe, what did he say? He said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. He didn't say, oh, when they're ignorant, I will forgive them, I will spare them, I will rescue them. No, he will let you perish for your ignorance. So as long as this group of people, which is us, the global African family, even those who are so beaten hard to not feel associated with it, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we all come from Africa. So this is the state of emergency. The mental health of our people is in. Any children we happen to lose was never ours to begin with, especially when it's from their own doing. We have that understanding, so no feelings hurt. For those of you who think that we the African are going to feel some kind of way when you get out there and publicly disgrace yourself. So I don't know why they're kicking you out of your indigenous tribes. You don't speak the language, you don't have their name. They answer their last name. What happened to yours? How come you got mingled up with the Africans? But let me tell you something, for those of you who walk around so embarrassed to claim anything African. Let me tell you that slavery is our badge of honor. They don't make peasants, poor idiot, they don't make them slaves. Once they conquer them, they conquer their land, they dispose of them. Once they have fully conquered you, then they're ready to pay you reparation. Not when it comes to us, because they are yet to conquer us. Do you know who they make slave? They make kings slave. Okay? Because there's wealth, significant wealth to be stolen. Because there's title to be stolen. Their crowns, there's thrones, prestigious identities to be stolen. Now when you're a peasant, either they kill you and they take what you have. When you are a king, God's priesthood and royalty on earth, everything you touch is valuable. That's why you have them sell millions of dollars, any object our forefathers touch. So to those of you so embarrassed of that African identity, to the point you can never claim it, you will claim a dog. Think about it. Only God's people were meant to be made slave and rise from it, so the glory could be that of our Father. Those of you who are severely lost, the God of our ancestors' name is Nzambe, and he said in this time we will rise. So those of you so sick, so hateful, they go around, other people hate us no, you hate yourself. So you can only give out what you have. There's no way you can love anybody if you hate yourself. When you don't have a fellow African American like yourself next to you to hate on, you're going to hate on the Chinese, you're going to hate on the African, you're going to hate on everybody. But it's time we bring this topic to the forefront, because we need to heal, and we're not here to play around. Those who want to maintain the black identity, just like their former masters stole the identity of an entire continent, America, they made it a matter of United States. Now, when you say America, oh, you only see United States. That's what their slaves, the African slaves, that's what they're trying to be among other blacks. They want to be the only blacks. They want to be the one defining blacks. I don't know who gave them that right. But look how your former masters are being treated around the world. They're losing friend by the minute. That narcissistic era is over. We're going to have to regroup. Nobody will respect a group of people. All they do is self-hate. Self-hate. They hate their women. We are the only group of people where we have black women. We have our own children sitting there insulting us, having channels. What kind of people? Who can dare respect us with that? Tell me. It's because you don't understand rulership. Certain things you have to take by force. If it was taken from you by force, you have to take it back by force. Our dignity was taken from us by force. We were stripped naked in the eyes of the world. And what do many of our children find to do? To act like an animal. in the eyes of the world. They go around attacking other black people for no reason. They start a big war publicly. They are now calling diasporan war. What kind of war can it be between brothers of the same house? Because your former master beat you so hard that you lost track of who you are. So now what you do around your brothers and sisters you could learn from, you terrorize. We must heal. It's time you stop your terror. You have to understand that you have a home. It's called Africa. The former masters made it very clear. Our people have become insane to think that that which these people took by force and murdered millions to have, they're going to bundle it up and hand it over to you because you go around saying, oh, we indigenous of this land, we indigenous of this land. These people bore weapon against their own people to become their own people. Now you think they're going to give you a piece of that pie. Wake up. Didn't you see how they made your brother Kanye from billionaire to millionaire overnight? No. Our people have become addicted to drama. Oh, they love it. But I want you to know you have a home. Africa is your home. It's the only place that will never reject you. You have to come home. Don't think they will give you anything. You have to understand rulership. If we acquire a land, not that we're capable of doing the evil they committed, but you acquire a land, you use millions of Africans for a century to build it for you for free and everything, you secure it, you even became independent from your sponsors. You're not going to give it up to somebody, but our people have become narcissists, just like our former enslaver. What does the narcissist? He dangles something on your face. I'm going to do this when you did this first for me. Each time you get close to achieving, getting closer to a target so that we get closure with what happened to us. We get healing, okay? Instead of galvading to different identities. Galvading through different identities every decade, every 10 years. They give us a new name. Let me just cover a few that I found. Even though those who come on my page and say, we are not your children, you should feel proud and happy that somebody dare claim you. And no matter how dumb and stupid you are, I will claim you. That's what a mother does. Even when you're crazy, you act up, you act in such a dishonorable manner, I will claim you with your nasty self. Your funny looky self, I will claim you. That's what a mother does. Go get lost, go wherever. I will keep the light on, hoping to hear that door open and see you walk in. That's what a mother does. So you do you, but you will come around because it's in the scripture. I don't care whatever other identity you claim you now have today. It doesn't matter. I still claim you, just like my forefathers did. They died fighting, trying to keep your stinky behind home, and I will claim you. So in the 1600s, they call us savages. In the 1700s, they call us native. In the 1800s, they call us niggers. In the 1900s, they call us darkies. Okay? In 1910, Pikinini, 1920, Coons, 1930, Spooks, 1940, Boy, 1950, Colored, 1960, Negroes, 1970, Brothers, 1980, Blacks, 1990, African Americans. Now, in the 2000, the millennium is what? Indigenous. You should get tired of that circus. If you have self-love, okay, go back to your root. Instead of going around, you upload videos on the internet talking about you native, you this, you native that, you native this, you native that. You haven't even checked what is in your DNA. People are laughing. How can people ever respect us with all that display of self-hatred? We want to go and claim anything else. Anything we claim we have good, we give credit to anything else. Native Americans are kicking you out of their tribe. How can they easily take something from you if you're born in it? Help it make sense to me. But I want you all knuckleheads out there to know you have a home. It's called Africa. You have a family. It's called the global African people. And we love you. Broken and all, we pray that one day, that just one day, it will click. You will be tired with being dragged on the street at gunpoint. You will be tired to be stripped naked in public. You will be tired to see the fruit of your labor taken away from you at a wink of an eye. You will be tired to fear injustice. And when you get really tired, you decide to come home. We be waiting on the other side of the river, because there's life on the other side of the river. There's sweet mangoes to be eaten, sweet coconut juice to be drinking, a land to build, a legacy to build, and a history to rewrite. Until next time, peace in your homes, love in your hearts, and unity, for without which we should give up.
Kira yo do ya kura leku, inja kiri mo la me kira kira.